it finally came around, she was like, I'm trying to get to work and I need a bus pass. I was like, oh, okay, Alice, how much is the bus pass? She was like, the bus pass is $85. And I was like, well, I mean, I had it, but I really wasn't trying to come up with off of $85 to give to Alice. So I was like, well, I could like, cash app you $20 to get you an Uber to work or something like that. And she was like, well, an Uber to my job, because I work far out, an Uber to my job is like $45. And I was like, and she was like, but the bus pass is like $85 for the month. And I was like, why is she calling me? Like, hey, what's up everyone? It's your boy Benji Adsense and I'm back with another video. So I just wanted to make this video. It's gonna be a quick video and I wanted to make this video in order to update you all on what has been happening since my last interview with Alice. During my last interview with Alice said that Keyshawn, which is her eldest son, wanted to come on my channel and have an interview with me so that he could express how he felt about some of the interviews that he saw with his little brother Josias on Marcus's channel, which is the Atlanta Street Interviews YouTube channel. So I originally agreed to do the interview, but after my last interview with Alice, I just felt like, we've heard enough from Alice. I interviewed Josias' father, I interviewed Alice a few times, and I just felt like I like to keep my content fresh. And I was like, we really don't need to hear from Keyshawn. That's just how I was feeling at the time, right? So during the last interview, I asked Alice, I said, if I assist you financially next month, do you want to go see Josias? Alice said, sure. I said, okay, will you allow me to film? Alice said, sure. Okay, bet. So a month passed, and so now it's going on 2 months because it's been about 3 weeks since I messaged Alice. And I actually messaged her and called her. So I actually spoke to her on the phone as well. And we were talking and I was like, so are you ready to go see Josias? And Alice said, nobody has heard from Josias. Not his father, not his grandparents. Josias got kicked out of the shelter and nobody has heard from him. She also went on to say that, Keyshawn is here with me. And Keyshawn and I were going to get on the bus to go see Josias, but that was going to be like $600 or $700. So, we had to cancel that. I said, well, if it's $600 or $700, Alice, if you say that I can film Josias once we get there, I will pay the $600 or $700 for you and Keyshawn a round trip ticket to get from North Carolina to Columbus, Ohio, where Josias is. She said, oh, okay. I said, okay, so we're going to keep in touch, and over the next few days and see if you get in touch with Josias to see if you're ready to go see him or not. She said, okay. So I've been in touch with Alice, touching base with her, and Alice claims that she can't get in touch with Josias. Meanwhile, on Marcus's channel, okay, so check this out. Alice sent me a screenshot of her supposedly FaceTiming with Josias, right? Okay. Alice posts this screenshot on Facebook and she sends it to me in a text message over the phone because we have each other's number, right? Marcus then interviews Josias and Marcus asks Josias, have you been in touch with your mom? And Josias wasn't really on one of those wild kicks doing all the crazy stuff that he sometimes does. Josias seemed to be pretty mellow when Marcus was asking him this question. So Marcus was like, Josias, have you spoken to your mom? And Josias was like, no. Marcus is like, you haven't spoken to your mom since you've been back in Columbus? Josias was like, no. And so Marcus was asking Josias, had he spoke to Alice since he had been back in Columbus? And Josias said no. Meanwhile, this whole time, Alice is telling me that she has been FaceTiming Josias and she sends me this screenshot, I don't know when it was taken, of her supposedly FaceTiming with Josias. Now, after Marcus released that video asking Josias if he had been in contact with his mom, Alice hurried up and she deleted that screenshot off of her Facebook. So I messaged Alice because I'm like, I just watched Marcus's video and I see that Marcus asked Josias, had he been in contact with you since he had been in Columbus? And Josias said no. And so then Alice was like, well, I sent you the screenshot. And so I was like, Alice, why did you delete the screenshot off of your Facebook that you posted then? Like, why did you do that? And she was like, oh, she really didn't answer me. She was just like, people have been harassing me on Facebook and TikTok, so I had to close down my TikTok and my Facebook. And I'm like, Alice, it just really wasn't making sense to me because I was talking to her on Facebook. So I don't know if that screenshot that she sent of her FaceTiming Josias was something that happened since Josias has been back in Columbus or not. I don't know. That's just what I'm letting y'all know what has happened, y'all. In addition to that, something also, let me say this. Alice is one of those people who I don't dislike her. When I talk to her on the phone and stuff, I actually like her, but it's one of those situations where you don't dislike somebody, you actually like them, but you know that they like full of shit at the same time. That's how I feel about Alice. It's like I don't dislike her. I just know that she's full of shit. I'm not going to comment on her parenting or anything like that. That's just not my place. You all have spoken, and I'll just say that. You all have spoken. But one morning, Alice hit me up and she like called me on the phone. And she called me on the phone. And it was one of those situations where it's like, okay, you called me on the phone, but we really ain't got no business going on right now. So what's up? So she was like, she started talking about like Marcus or something, but it really didn't make sense what she was saying. And then it finally came around. She was like, I'm trying to get to work and I need a bus pass. I was like, oh, okay, Alice, how much is the bus pass? She was like, the bus pass is $85. And I was like, well, I mean, I had it, but I really wasn't trying to come up with off of $85 to give to Alice. So I was like, well, I could like, cash app you $20 to get you an Uber to work or something like that. And she was like, well, an Uber to my job, because I work far out, an Uber to my job is like $45. And I was like, and she was like, but the bus pass is like $85 for the month. And I was like, why is she calling me? Like, I paid her for her interviews and I paid her well for her interviews, but like, I don't know you like that. Like, why are you calling me, lady? And I really would have cashed out her $20, but she was trying to get $85 up out of me. So I was just like, that really irritated me. I was like, well, let me see what I could do and I'll call you back. I was irritated, so I really didn't have any intentions after I had offered her to pay for an Uber to call her back with $85. Like, I had the $85, but I wasn't going to give her $85. So I sent her a text message and I was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't come up with the $85. And she was like, mind you, she told me that an Uber would cost like $45, right? So she didn't want to do that. So I was like, I don't have $85. So she was like, nah, like, oh, I didn't know you was trying to come up with the whole $85. Anything would have helped. I'm like, what? Like, lady, I offered to send you something. I offered to pay for an Uber, to send you money enough for an Uber. And you told me no because the Uber was $45. And now that I'm telling you that I couldn't come up with the $85, you're telling me anything would help? So yeah, needless to say, I did not cash out Alice any money.